What's going on, guys? Long time no see. This isn't really much of a DIY because I understand that I have more resources than a lot of people would. This is just kind of me showing you guys how I'm making my own shift knob here. So basically what I started out as is I had a piece of scrap tubing at work. This is literally just a piece of galvanized pipe, threaded pipe, as you can see. I ended up finding a nut that already has threads in it. So this is basically just gonna be my base of my shift knob, okay? Welded it to the pipe, went ahead and capped this other end off because my goal is to actually make like an epoxy based shift knob, but I wanted to build it around something that was gonna be a lot more solid than just threading epoxy. So basically what I'm gonna do is get some type of cup, maybe modify it to where it's just a little bit like wider than what this is. I'm gonna set this inside the cup, fill it up with epoxy. That way I can shape it the way that I want it to, because I want it to just be a little bit taller and a little bit wider around than what this is. And then that way I can get the exact shape that I want. It'll be easy to shape epoxy. And then that'll be the inside core of it. And what I'm doing now is, as you can see, I've got some tap and die here. So I found the same size of my nut, just in case I need to clean up the threads on this guy. And then this will be actually used inside of the car over here, where I'm going to have to grind down and shape this stock shift rod. So as you can see, it's notched for the factory shift knob. I'm probably just gonna cut this off, and then I will narrow this part down here, that way it can tap it. And then once I get that tapped or dyed, I can't remember which is the term, but get it threaded, I'll be able to put this on there, and then I'll be ready to build my actual shift knob. But the first step is getting this installed in the car, just to make sure that it works. Once I know that this can thread onto my stock shifter, then I will build it and make it look how I want to. So I'm getting ready to cut up on the stock shift rod, if you will, and try to tap it and put the threads on it. So there's where we're at. All right, after a lot of grinding and getting the right size, I threaded my tap on. It's not exactly perfect. It's really hard to do it with the tools that I have, but I've got it threaded now. I can thread my base on and get it to where it is tight. It's not wobbly, it's solid, so there we go. That was the first part of what I wanted to do right there. There we go. So now the next part will be getting epoxy, making my little mold, and starting from there. So got the foundation in, and now it's time to make it look cool. So I was just messing around. I had this sitting on the bench, and I decided to try and put the skate wheel on the end of it, and it fits right inside there, which is really cool. So this is actually going to be a part of the shift knob. Once I get the mold size that I want, I'm basically just gonna probably make it a little bit wider than this and fill it up just a little bit taller. So this is gonna be the very top of the shift knob. And you can see I painted this bottom part black. And just to go along with the color scheme, I'm going to probably do a pink splatter and a yellow splatter, because for those of you that don't know, my buddy AJ, this is his pro model wheel, and he's also sponsored by Pit Viper, and we always like wearing those sunglasses. So I think with the black base, the yellow and pink splatter, it will tie in the color scheme of this. And so then everything will be clear. It'll be just a little bit wider than this, and all this negative space right here will actually be clear epoxy. So as long as it works, it's gonna be really cool. I'm gonna try and clean up the skate wheel a little bit more, but I think it looks kind of cool, kind of rugged, because I have obviously skated it. So I think AJ will be pretty stoked to see this when I'm done. So that just kind of came about last night, and now I'm heading a whole different direction with it, kind of as far as the scheme goes. So it's gonna be cool. All right, we've got our pink and yellow, pretty close enough to the colors of the wheel. So I'm just gonna basically spray some on the cardboard to where I can dip my finger in it and just start flicking on the base. And there's other ways you can do it, but this is the quickest, easiest way that I have. So that's what I'm gonna do. Alright guys, got the mold, got the epoxy. I went to a Michael's and found this stuff. It was like $32. It's supposed to be pretty good. The picture looks pretty good. This is a 1-to-1 mixture. And we went to a Marshall's and found this like little thing that came with bath bombs, but it's like the perfect size. I am going to shape it down a little bit, but this actually fits just inside of the mold, which is what I want. So I'm going to get it to where I want it, and I'm probably going to super glue the base right in the middle. That way it stands straight up. And then I'm going to slowly pour my epoxy in here and let it dry. As you can see, I have taped up the seams. I actually super glued them as well. Seemed like they were already glued together, but if the epoxy leaks out, it will compromise your mold. So I went ahead and glued the seams and taped them. And I'm gonna super glue the base here down to the middle of the bottom of this and start pouring my epoxy in and let it set overnight. All right, here is the moment of truth. I think this is as ready as I'm gonna be. I don't know what to expect, but I'm just going to pour this really nice and slow and hope that everything just goes to plan here. Honestly, if this just comes out halfway decent, I will be insanely stoked. I don't know what to expect, really. I am nervous. I'm really excited. This could be something really, really cool for me. But I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I might have to mix up some more, but that's okay. Yeah, I think I am gonna have to mix up some more. Oh, this could potentially be so cool. I don't know how well you guys can see the pour or anything, but yeah, I think I'm gonna have to mix up some more. Just a little bit though. We're almost there. Which that's fine. I totally expected to use all of what I bought, so I'm gonna go ahead and mix up some more. But that's pretty much the gist right there. Oh, that's a cool angle. You guys are getting a good view. All right, this should be the last pour to fill up our mold completely. Hopefully. kind of go slow with this last bit so I make sure that it gets filled up underneath the wheel. I think we're full. Oh, we're right to the brim right now. Okay. Now. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so cool. I'm so excited. As long as this doesn't freaking leak out and cause a lot of disappointment to me, we're gonna be having a really cool piece here. Just wanna make sure that I've got epoxy around every part of the wheel. I'm kind of moving the mold around just to make sure, yeah, that there's epoxy everywhere. And hopefully, I don't know, there's a lot of bubbles, but I don't know, I think I'm gonna heat it up a little bit, try and get some bubbles out of there, but oh, it looks crazy though. I'm super stoked. All right, I know I look crazy. I just have been doing some trial and error. I got my shift knob out of the mold, and as you can see, it burned the image from the inside out. But this is my makeshift lathe right here, okay? So I have a threaded piece of rod that's the same bolt pattern as the nut that I used. So I can use this drill and spin it and pretty much shape it as I go. I've got it clamped to my table here. And right now I'm using a mixture of my sandpaper and this angle grinder to get my shape. I think I've pretty much got the end about around the skate wheel, or at least pretty close. As you can see, there's still some stuff to be done. So I'm starting off with 80, and this is pretty much the diameter about of what I want the top to be, and then it's gonna slowly taper down into the base. I'm pretty stoked with how it's turning out so far. I'll probably try and get you guys a time lapse going of this so you can see the whole thing. But yeah, so I just start with that, and then I put my sandpaper on the end and sand it down, and it's actually working pretty decently. So that's the move right now. Not exactly the shape that I was going for, but I mean, the widest part is the wheel, and I mean, it just kind of tapers down. I'm not upset about the shape. I'm going to start going up in the sand grits to slick it out and start slowly polishing it up. This is 80 grit right now. I'm going to go with the next highest I have, which is like 180. I'll go 220, 320, 400, 600, 1,000, and just pretty much keep going up from there until I can use some polishing compound that I have and hopefully shine this thing up and get it to looking at least somewhat decent enough to put in the car. It is not perfect by any means, don't get me wrong. There's an air bubble here that I'm not even worried about. There's a couple bubbles there. But for my first epoxy shift knob, I'm insanely stoked with how it came out. You guys should have been able to see the transformation in the time lapse with the polish and everything. I used some 3M polishing products. I know it's not perfect at all, but I am over the moon about how freaking cool this looks. It might not look like much to you guys, but I can't believe that I just made this from scratch completely, besides the skate wheel. I am so happy. I'm getting ready to put it in the car and show you guys what it looks like. All right, there it is in the car. The shape isn't exactly what I had in mind, but it starts very, very close to the size of the nut and obviously slowly tapers out to the size of the wheel. It's hard to tell because of the way the epoxy shows it, but it is a little bit taller than where the wheel was at. The wheel is a little bit lower, probably around right here, but it portrays it to follow the exact shape of the wheel, but it's actually a little bit bigger. And it's weird because on video and in person, actually, from this angle, the base of it looks like it's full all the way up, like as far as the width goes, but it's actually very, very small. This is the exact width of the pipe going up, so the epoxy makes it actually look like the splatter and the black are all the way throughout. You can kind of see it better from this angle, but it's still not even that wide. But I'm insanely stoked about how cool that came out. And I actually couldn't be happier. I know that it's not perfect and there's air bubbles and everything, but for it being the first time that I've ever made anything like this, I can't be mad at all. And I polished it up really nice. I could do better. I could probably go between, because I only had 1500 grit, I could probably go higher in sandpaper grit and then start polishing and it would look a little bit better. But like for how cool it looks right now, I'm actually not even probably gonna touch it, because I don't want to compromise the epoxy any more than it already is for all the sanding and like grinding and everything I did. I'm totally gonna leave it how it is and just rock with it because it's a dirty skate wheel. It's made out of a piece of pipe from work. Like, it's not meant to be perfect at all. As long as it works and it looks cool, which it totally does, I'm just gonna leave it like that. So that's pretty much it, honestly, guys. I had a very positive idea of how this was gonna go, but I actually did not think that it was gonna turn out this freaking cool. Obviously I'm over the moon about it. It might not seem like much to you guys, but the amount of time and stuff that I put into this for how cool it came out, I don't think that the satisfaction really comes through the camera. Or if anybody really even understands what it's like to do something like this on your own and create this from scratch. So I could not be any more happy, honestly. So thank you for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you in the next video.